Have you ever met someone who seems to enjoy hurting people? Not because they're angry, not because they're stressed, not because they had a bad day. They do it because they like the reaction. They enjoy watching your confidence fade. They enjoy seeing you second guess yourself. They enjoy that moment when your smile disappears and your energy changes. And here's the disturbing part. Most of these people don't look cruel. They smile, they joke, they act friendly. But behind that smile is a simple goal: to make themselves feel bigger by making someone else feel smaller. The mistake most people make is fighting back the wrong way. They argue, they defend themselves, they try to prove their worth, and without realizing it, they hand these people exactly what they wanted. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 responses that people who enjoy hurting others absolutely cannot handle. These responses don't require anger, they don't require revenge, and they don't require you to become someone you're not. But once you understand them, you'll never deal with toxic people the same way again. You have probably encountered this kind of person before. Maybe it was a coworker who always had a sarcastic comment ready. Maybe it was a family member who disguised insults as jokes. Maybe it was someone who called themselves your friend but somehow left you feeling worse after every conversation. They poke, they provoke, they embarrass. And when you react, they suddenly become innocent. If you get upset, you're too sensitive. If you defend yourself, you're creating drama. If you fight back, somehow you're the problem. It's a game, and the reason it's so frustrating is because most people don't realize they're playing it. But before we talk about how to deal with these people, we need to understand something important about why they behave this way. Because once you understand the psychology behind it, they become much easier to handle. Why some people enjoy hurting others. Most people imagine cruel individuals as obviously bad people, but real life rarely works like that. Many people who enjoy hurting others appear completely normal. They're charming, funny, socially accepted. Yet underneath all of that, something is missing. When they see someone confident, they feel insecure. When they see someone succeeding, they feel threatened. When they see someone at peace, they are reminded of the chaos inside themselves. And instead of building their own confidence, they try to damage yours. Psychologists often refer to this as compensation behavior. Rather than addressing their own pain, they temporarily feel better by creating pain in someone else. Think about it like this. A person who is emotionally healthy gains satisfaction from growth. A person who is emotionally wounded often gains satisfaction from comparison. And if they can't rise higher, they'll try to pull someone else lower. Understanding this doesn't mean excusing their behavior. It means recognizing that their attacks say far more about them than they do about you. And once you realize that, you stop seeing them as powerful. Because truly powerful people don't need to hurt others to feel strong. Response 1. Stop giving them the show. Most people react immediately when they're attacked. They explain, defend, argue. But that's exactly what the other person wants. People who enjoy hurting others feed on emotional reactions. Your frustration becomes their reward. So the first response is surprisingly simple. Pause. Take a breath. Say nothing for a moment. Then calmly look at them. Not with anger, not with fear, just quiet observation. This creates something they weren't expecting, a gap. A moment where their words fail to produce the reaction they were hoping for. And suddenly they're forced to sit with what they just said. The silence becomes louder than any comeback ever could. Because silence communicates a powerful message. You don't control my emotions. And that is deeply uncomfortable for someone who was counting on exactly that. Response 2. Name what just happened. One of the strongest things you can do is calmly identify the behavior. Not aggressively, not emotionally, simply honestly. You might say, that sounded like it was meant to hurt, or that felt unnecessary, or even, interesting timing to say that. Notice what you're doing. You're not attacking them. You're making the behavior visible. And that's a problem for people who depend on hiding behind jokes, sarcasm, or plausible deniability. Because once the behavior is named, everyone sees it, including them, and suddenly they lose their favorite defense. I was only joking. When the truth is calmly spoken out loud, manipulation loses much of its power. Response 3. Agree without collapsing. This one surprises people. Sometimes the most powerful response is partial agreement. Imagine someone says, "You always make mistakes." Instead of becoming defensive, you calmly respond, "Like everyone else, I've made plenty." Or they say, "You're too quiet." And you reply, "I can be quiet sometimes." Notice what happens. You aren't surrendering. You're showing confidence. Because secure people don't need to defend every criticism. They can acknowledge reality without feeling threatened by it. And that completely destroys the attack. Why? Because the attacker was hoping to find insecurity. But when you remain comfortable with yourself, there's nothing to exploit. Confidence isn't proving people wrong. Confidence is remaining stable even when they think they're right. Response 4. Ask the question they never expect. When someone says something cruel, ask, why did you want to say that? Not aggressively, genuinely, calmly, curiously. This question shifts the spotlight. Suddenly, the focus isn't on you anymore. It's on their motivation. And that's where many toxic people become uncomfortable, because they're used to explaining your reaction. They're not used to explaining their behavior. Most won't have a good answer. Some will stumble. Others will become defensive. And everyone watching will notice, all because you asked a simple question. Sometimes awareness is more powerful than confrontation. Response 5. Leave without drama. This may be the strongest response of all. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is simply leave. Not angrily, not emotionally, not to punish anyone. Just calmly remove yourself, because your attention is valuable, and not everyone deserves access to it. When you quietly walk away from disrespect, you're communicating something important. This interaction is beneath my energy. People who enjoy hurting others need participation. They need engagement. They need your reaction. The moment you stop participating, the game ends, and a game without players quickly becomes boring. The lesson most people miss. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People learn how to treat us by what we repeatedly tolerate. That doesn't mean cruelty is your fault. It never is. But boundaries teach people what behavior has consequences. Every time disrespect is ignored, a lesson is learned. Every time manipulation works, a lesson is learned. Every time cruelty receives unlimited access to your time and attention, a lesson is learned. The good news? Lessons can change. The moment you begin responding differently, people begin seeing you differently. And eventually, many toxic individuals stop trying altogether, not because they've changed, but because you're no longer giving them what they came for. The truth is, people who enjoy hurting others aren't as powerful as they seem. Most are fighting battles within themselves that they don't know how to face. So instead of creating peace, they create chaos. Instead of healing their wounds, they try to reopen yours. But you don't have to join them. You don't have to defend your worth. You don't have to prove your value. And you certainly don't have to carry someone else's negativity home with you. Because the strongest response isn't anger. It's calm clarity. It's knowing who you are. It's refusing to let someone else's chaos become your identity. The moment you stop being available for manipulation, guilt, and emotional games, something remarkable happens. You become unshakable, and people who thrive on shaking others lose all of their power. If this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more psychology-based insights. And tell me in the comments, have you ever met someone who seemed to enjoy hurting others? How did you handle it? Your experience might help someone else who needs to hear it today. Until next time, take care of yourself and protect your peace.